Let's go ahead and dive into some more free lines of personal leans right here on YouTube. All starts Eastern Standard Time. And on deck, we've got the Wizards taking on the Knicks, 7:30 Eastern tip-off in New York. The Knicks are minus 2.5 total at 229 and a hook. We saw a half a point move toward New York and moving upward on the total. The Knicks open as the 2-point favorite up to minus 2.5. Total open 229 up to 229 and a hook. 59% are leaning Knicks, 51% shaded toward the over. Right now, Washington is plus 125 on the money line. Now, the Wizards have been winners in 4 out of their last 6. They're also 60% against the spread in their last 10. They successfully covered the point spread against Dallas and Miami. They rank the top 5 in scoring, top 10 in shooting the 3-ball. Bradley Beal, 29 points a game, 5 rebounds, 6 assists. Davis Bertans, 15 points a game, 5 rebounds. We're looking at a Washington team who ranks in the top 5 in road scoring, top 10 in road offensive field goal percentage. Now, the Knicks on the other side, winners of just 8 out of 26 home games. They rank in the bottom 3 in scoring, and they're currently in 13th place in the Eastern Conference at just 17 and 37 overall for the year. That is 20 games under 500. Now, the Knicks rank in the bottom 5 in offensive field goal percentage, dead last in defending the 3-ball. We're looking at a New York team who's averaging 104 points per contest. That is it. Now, 4 out of New York's last 6 games did get over the number. Washington 18-8 to the over when traveling. I'm going to lean toward the Wizards plus 2.5. And the over 229.5 in that contest. Next game, Bucks taking on the Pacers, 7:30 Indiana. The Bucks are minus 2 total at 222.5. We saw a half a point move toward Milwaukee and movement upward on the total. The Bucks open 1.5 up to minus 2. Total open 222 up to 222 and a hook. Right now the Pacers are plus $1.10 on the money line. Now if you like the Pacers in this matchup here, just keep in mind they've lost their last 6 straight. They also failed to cover the point spread in 6 out of their last 8. They failed to cover against the likes of Brooklyn, the New York Knicks, and Portland. They also rank in the bottom 10 in scoring, bottom 5 in offensive rebounding. The Pacers have successfully covered the point spread in just 12 out of 28 home games. They rank in the bottom 10 in home scoring. The Bucks on the other side, winners of 9 out of their last 10, 21 and 4 straight up on the road. Now, guys, Hill and Giannis, they are out for tonight's action, but we're looking at a Milwaukee team who's still really, really good without those 2 guys. I know it doesn't seem that way. I think the market's adjusted this number for the overreaction with Giannis out. A lot of times they will do that. A lot of folks will overreact to injuries. So just keep in mind, we have a Chris Middleton character here who's averaging 21 points a game, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. Eric Bledsoe, 16 points a game, 5 rebounds, 5 assists. And Brook Lopez, 11 points, 5 rebounds, 3 blocks for him. We have plenty of key guys for this Milwaukee squad to, pick up the slack here. Now, Milwaukee, they rank first in scoring on average per game, first in offensive rebounding. They're also first in defensive field goal percentage. Indiana, 7-2 to the over in their last 9. I'm going to lean toward the road chalk in this one. Give me Milwaukee minus 2 and the over 222.5 in that contest. Next game, Blazers taking on the Grizzlies, 8 o'clock Memphis. The Grizzlies are minus 4.5, total 235 and a hook. We saw a 1-point move toward Memphis and movement upward on the total. The Grizzlies open 3.5 up to minus 4.5. Total open 235 up to 235 and a hook. 54% are leaning Grizzlies, 58% shaded toward the under. Right now, Portland's plus $1.65 on the money line. Now, Portland winners of 6 out of their last 9. They've also gone 7-2 against the number in those 9 games. They successfully covered the point spread against the likes of Miami, the Lakers, Houston, Indiana, and Utah twice during that stretch. Portland ranks in the top 10 in scoring, top 10 in offensive rebounding. Hazonia and Little are listed as questionable for tonight's action, but Damian Lillard, 30 points a game, 4 rebounds, 8 assists. CJ McCollum, 21 points a game, 4 rebounds, 4 assists for him. And Hassan Whiteside, 16 points a game, 4 rebounds for this Portland squad. We're looking at a Blazers team who ranks in the top 10 in defensive field goal percentage. They're also averaging 114 points per game. Memphis on the other side, bottom 10 in points allowed, bottom 10 in defending the 3-ball. They're allowing 114 points per game on average. 4 out of their last 6 games did get over the number. Meanwhile, Portland, 80% to the over in their last 10 themselves. I'm going to purchase the half a point, buy it up, and lean Portland plus 5 and the over 235.5 in that contest. Next game, Hornets taking on the Timberwolves, 8 o'clock, Minnesota. The T-Wolves are minus 7.5, total 226 and a hook. We saw a half a point move toward Minnesota and movement upward on the total. The Timberwolves open as the 7-point favorite up to 7.5. Total open 226 up to 226 and a hook. 64% are leaning Minnesota, 57% shaded toward the over. And right now, Charlotte is plus 270 on the money line. Now, the Hornets, believe it or not, they rank in the top 10 in points allowed on the road. I know they've, struggled in many spots this year, but, that it is what it is. Charlotte, top 10 in points allowed on the road, top 5 in defending the three ball on the road as well. Believe it or not, they're just 6.5 games back of that 8th seed, so they are not out of playoff contention. As a matter of fact, they're still in the mix there. Now, Nick Batum, he's been upgraded to probable for tonight's action. Devontae Graham, 18 points a game, 4 rebounds, 8 assists. Terry Rozier, 18 points a game, 5 rebounds, 4 assists for him. And Miles Bridges, 13 points a game, 6 rebounds for this Charlotte team. Now, Minnesota on the other side, I think we all know where they stand. The coldest team in the association right now at just 1-14 straight up in their last 15. I don't know what happened because their roster isn't that terrible. They're also just 7-19 straight up at home. They rank in the bottom 5 in offensive field goal percentage, bottom 5 in points allowed. Now, they've successfully covered the point spread in just 6 out of 26 home games. They also rank dead last in home field goal percentage. They're allowing 116 points per contest. They also suffered losses recently to the likes of Atlanta, Chicago, and Sacramento twice during that stretch. Actually, that was within their last 10 games. Now, total-wise, Minnesota just letting everybody score on them. They're 3-0 to the over in their last 3, 6-3 to the over in their last 9. Meanwhile, Charlotte 4-2 to the over in their last 6 themselves. I'm going to lean Hornets plus 7.5 and the over 226.5 in that contest. Next game, Sacramento taking on Dallas, 8:30 Eastern tip-off in that game. The Mavericks are minus 7, total 227. We saw a half a point move toward the Mavs and movement downward on the total. The Mavericks open 6.5 up to minus 7. Total open 227.5 down to 227 even. Right now the Kings are plus 250 on the money line. Now if you like Sacramento in this matchup here, just keep in mind they've won just 10 out of 27 road games this year. They also rank in the bottom 10 in scoring in the NBA, bottom 3 in offensive rebounding. Holmes, Len, Bagley, they're all listed as out for tonight's action. Parker, he's questionable. We're looking at a Sacramento team who's in the bottom 5 in road offensive rebounding, bottom 10 in road defensive field goal percentage. They're currently in 12th place in the Western Conference at just 21-32 overall for the year, 11 games under 500. Dallas on the other side, 60% against the spread in their last 10. They rank in the top 3 in scoring, top 5 in offensive rebounding. Luka Doncic, he's been upgraded to probable. Pretty good chance we'll see him back in action tonight. We're looking at a Dallas team, who's led by Luka, who's averaging 29 points a game, double-digit rebounds, 9 assists. Kristaps Porzingis looks like he's pretty healthy again. 18 points a game, 9 rebounds, 2 blocks. And Tim Hardaway Jr., 15 points a game, 3 rebounds. We're looking at a Mavericks team who ranks in the top 10 in shooting the 3-ball. They're also averaging 116 points per game. Dallas 5-0 to the over in their last 5, 7-1 to the over in their last 8. Meanwhile, the Kings 70% to the over in their last 10. I'm going to lean Mavericks minus 7 and the over 227 in that contest. Next game, Warriors taking on the Suns, 9 o'clock Phoenix. The Suns are minus 7.5, total 226 and a hook. We saw a half a point move toward Phoenix and movement upward on the total. The Suns open as the 7-point favorite up to minus 7.5. Total open 226 up to 226 and a hook. Right now, Golden State's plus 260 on the money line. They're also 4-3 against the spread in their last 7. They rank the top 3 in offensive free throw percentage. Very good from the stripe. And believe it or not, they're 14-14 against the spread away from home. So, you'd think as bad as they've been, equally they'd be as bad for the backers, but they're not. They're actually covering 50% of their games away from home. They have successful point spread covers over the likes of the Lakers, Philadelphia, and Portland. Meanwhile, Phoenix on the other side, losers of 6 out of their last 7. They've also won just 10 out of 28 home games. Baines, Saric, Harper, they're all out. Ayton, he's been downgraded to questionable. So kind of banged up here are these Phoenix Suns. They rank in the bottom 10 in offensive rebounding, bottom 10 in defensive field goal percentage. We're looking at a Phoenix team who's allowing 114 points per contest on average. Now, total-wise, the Suns are 60% to the under in their last 10. Golden State 2-1 to the under in their last 3. I'm going to lean toward the road dog. Give me Golden State plus 7.5 and the under 226 and a hook in that contest. Next game should be a good one. I'm talking about Miami taking on Utah, 9 o'clock Eastern tip-off. The Jazz open 5.5 down to minus 4.5. Total open 216 and a hook up to 217. Right now Miami's plus $1.60 on the money line. Now, the Heat, losers of 3 out of their last 4. They also covered the point spread just 40% of the time in their last 10. They failed to cover the point spread against the likes of Portland, Sacramento, and Washington. The Heat, they rank in the bottom 10 in road scoring, bottom 10 in free throw percentage on the road. Now, Utah on the other side, winners of their last 3 straight. They're also 19-5 straight up at home. They rank in the top 5 in offensive field goal percentage. They're also first in the NBA in shooting the 3-ball. Donovan Mitchell, 24 points a game, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Bojan Bogdanovic, 21 points a game, 4 rebounds for him. And Rudy Gobert, he's bringing down 15 rebounds a game. He's also averaging 16 points per contest and 2 blocks. Now the Jazz, they rank in the top 10 in points allowed, top 5 in defensive rebounding. They're giving up 104 points per contest on their home court. 5 out of their last 8 did get over the number. Miami on the other side, 31-22 to the over on the year. I'm going to lean Utah minus 4.5 and the over 217 in that game. All right, next and final matchup for the show, it is going to be Lakers taking on the Nuggets. 10 o'clock Eastern tip-off in Denver. The Lakers open -2, down to -1. Total open 219, up to 219 and a hook. Denver plus $1.10 on the money line. The Nuggets 4-0 straight up in their last 4 games, 8-2 straight up in their last 10. They beat Milwaukee, Houston, the Pelicans, and Utah twice during that stretch. They rank the top 10 in offensive field goal percentage, top 5 in points allowed. Nikola Jokic, 21 points a game, 10 rebounds, 7 assists. Jamal Murray, 19 points a game, 4 boards, 5 assists for him. And Jeremy Grant, 11 points a game, 4 rebounds for the Nuggets. Now we're looking at a Denver squad who ranks in the top 10 in defensive rebounding, top 3 in home points allowed. They're giving up just 104 points per contest in that category. They're also 21-6 straight up on their home court. The Lakers on the other side, 40% against the spread in their last 10. They failed to cover against the likes of Golden State, Portland, and the Knicks during that stretch. They rank in the bottom 3 in offensive free throw percentage, struggling from the stripe. They're also 18th in defending the 3-ball on the road. Now, 2 out of the Lakers' last 3 games did stay under the number. Denver on the other side, 15-12 to the under on their home court. I know I've been taking a lot of overs lately across the board, but I think this one should stay under the total. I'm going to lean toward the home dog in this one. Give me Denver plus 1 and the under 219.5 in that game. All right, guys, let's go ahead and dive into some shout-outs. Once again, brought to you by patreon.com/ProcPage, where once again we do daily premium sports picks on that website, beginning at just $1.99 per month. And we went 4-1 yesterday in our premium picks on that website. Shout out to Chris Kennedy, Ant Ruga, Tommy Zampetta, Square 707 Steam, Vernon Williard, Mrs. Jones, Sean Crowley from Johnstown, PA. I don't know if you guys ever heard of the Johnstown flood. It was a historic event that occurred in Pennsylvania, and the whole town was flooded. One of the dams completely busted and just completely decimated and eliminated the whole town. I'm sure Sean can give us even more detailed information in the comment section below. But once again, shout out to Sean Crawley from Johnstown, PA. Actually, I think they have a good basketball team. Pitt Johnstown, is it? I think they have a good basketball team there, too. Shout out to Brian Morton, CQP Underboss, Renisha Brown, Jermaine Thorns, Carlito Bambino, Jermaine Thorns, yes, I already said that. Shout out to Ant Rod, Julian Dobson, Guardian Angel, Josh Fitness and Fun, John Rodriguez, and last but certainly not least, got to give a shout out to the Rudy. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Once again, don't forget to check me out on Patreon. But most importantly, guys, I got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. Happy Wednesday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/ProcPage.